Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 10 of What If Godlike Naruto Went to the Marvel Universe. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. If you're new, yes, I indeed have 4 of them guys. Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, and Anime Prince, which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly, every day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and destroy that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family, guys. Links will be down in the description for other channels, so go ahead, check them out, and yeah, enjoy. So without further ado, with this, we jump right into this new episode without wasting more time. Begin now, guys. So the last spot we left off, Peggy Carter died. Yeah, she passed away, however. This was not a reality after all. She was still alive out there as Naruto was the one helping her. As he was doing things to help Natasha as well. As he wanted to reverse the process of her not being able to have kids. And he first tested this out on Peggy, and it was going wonderfully at the moment. So with that, Naruto attended the funeral there even though he knew that she was really not dead. There was a bit of commotion with the spy of Hydra there as he spoke to Nick Fury about the reactivation of the search for Captain America. If Cap was to show up right now, well, they would be having a harder time, and they had protocols to deal with that. That is why Naruto hadn't went himself to retrieve Cap, because he knew that many other things would take place that, well, they were not ready for yet. We then had a small time skip. Eric, who was the lost prince of Wakanda, was at a bar. He had risen through the ranks of the military as he was a part of a special ops. That is where he had came into contact with a man there. The man told to meet him outside. Eric weighed his options, but he went with it. As Naruto properly introduced himself, Eric tried to cut him with his knife. However, he was unable to, as Naruto told him that he would give him jobs, and throughout the time he would give him these beads. It was all Eric ever wanted, as he wanted to use Wakanda to take over the world, and now he had a chance of doing that. However, he had to work for this guy. We then skip towards Naruto, Jessica, and Natasha, as the two of them were able to convince Jessica to go back to college, as Naruto was cooking up something and then he fell to the ground. As he started to convulse and his body started to turn to stone, the girls started to freak out. However, Naruto brought his hand down and summoned the 19th beast inside of him. As the girls were confused, Jaiki and Kurama explained the situation. It turns out that someone had taken all the Earth's natural energy and used it for something. However, Naruto has been fixing that. The Ancient One felt it the moment it was fixed. Someone had restored chakra to the Earth. It was her predecessor that had used it to create the Eye of Agamotto to face off against the enemy. And someone had fixed it. She had to find this Naruto fellow, the fox. She had to find him quickly because there were certain events that he should not change, and with his power he could change a lot. The next morning, the two girls were still worried. Jessica was taking care of Nat to make sure that she was okay. Natasha was worried even more, as Fury called in as Natasha twisted the truth. However, Fury was glad to hear that there was at least something that could take down Naruto. But she didn't tell him that it was his own doing. As Naruto fixed himself back up, the nature energy leaving his system. However, Kurama mistakenly spread the news to the girls about Naruto being immortal and also a god as well. So with that, he had to explain a few things. And he also brought them to meet Peggy and Sharon, as they were rather shocked when they came across everything, as Naruto explained what he was doing this entire time. As him and Jess got into a bit of fussle as she chased him around. As Natasha had not talked about the whole immortality thing, that was a sore subject for them now. As Peggy and Sharon told her that Naruto was doing this for her, the amount of love that he had for her was just something else. We then had a time skip as both of them were on vacation. They were just relaxing on vacation, no phones, no work, nothing at all. As at the moment Jessica was at college. She was an independent person, so she refused to take handouts, even though they were trying to help her in certain areas. She wanted to pay for herself as well. However, Naruto, being the person that he is, went through some things to make sure that she get the best experience, and also hooked her up very well. However, Natasha wanted to talk to him about the issue. Yes, there was an issue. They haven't talked about it yet, but this was the time. This was the time to finally talk about his immortality. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the playstick of yourself, and also don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs. Links will be down in the description, so go ahead, check them out and enjoy guys. So without further ado, what is to begin this new episode start? The intro. Naruto, said Natasha. He answered back. How would you like to deal with all of this, she asks. Deal with what, he said. You know, the whole immortality thing, said Natasha. Naruto taking a deep breath. This was all out of his control now. He had wanted to hold it off for a bit longer, but yes, he couldn't anymore. I don't really know, said Naruto. I had planned to let you decide if we should be together after the operation. If you happen to say yes, I probably would have just leave in 5-10 years. That way you could find someone that you could spend the rest of your life with, said Naruto. His emotion was out for her to see. She could understand where he was coming from. He received a gift that most people wanted, however. That gift was a curse. Watching the ones that you love die. Civilizations grow and crumble away. Doomed to observe the universe for the end of time. The thought of doing that alone scared her. And that is what triggered her next idea. What if I don't want us to break up, she said. Then I guess I'll stay with you for quite some time, he said, with a warm smile. She turned to face him. You don't get it, she said. What if I don't want us to separate? Like ever? As he took a while to understand what she was saying. However, once he did, his reaction was explosive. Hell no, he said, getting up. I'm not going to make you experience any of this. It's bad enough I have to do this, but there's no way in hell I'm going to put you through this, said Naruto. As he paced back in front of the window, his anxiousness getting the better of him. Natasha was surprised by his answer, but she shouldn't be. He would always do everything to make sure his loved ones are safe and alright. Being an immortal, in his opinion, will not be a good life. It will cause a life of grief, in his opinion. She tried to think about a way around this. She would like to ask Ibichus about some suggestions, but it's rather doubtful that Naruto would summon them to help her in this situation, which he clearly did not want for her. As she then remembered a small detail that Naruto had let out. How about a compromise, she said. As he stopped pacing. What are you suggesting, he asked. Do you remember our talk when you told me about the harem thing, she said. Yeah, said Naruto, as he didn't get where this was going. Can you tell me the option for a non-Uzumaki that's in a relationship with a Uzumaki? Except for the harem, she said. Oh, that. A marriage ritual by sharing a Uzumaki vitality, said Naruto. As he then realized what she was hinting to. The Uzumaki marriage ritual would extend the non-Uzumaki lifespan, while the Uzumaki lifespan would decrease, eventually closing the life gap. An unintended but welcome outcome of increasing the stamina of a non-Uzumaki. The seal that was used in the ritual would link the couple, keeping each other alive even through a deadly injury, as long as one of them could supply the life force to heal the other. The only problem was if one person dies, the other will follow, not long after. The marriage ritual was a reversible process, since the Uzumakis acknowledged that love could die down. They were kind of cynical in that way. If he applied the ritual between himself and Natasha, she will acquire his immortality, and she would have the option to leave whenever she wants. A sad thought, sure, but It's the best solution if she really want to go through with it. Natasha could see him debating to himself about accepting all of this, as he was slowly compromising and coming around. She can admit to herself that Naruto is the best thing that ever happened to her, personally and professionally. He's like a storm that swept in her life suddenly, being a part of every part of her life in an instant. He's like the sun, giving new life to her while bringing existence. She can't even imagine a life anymore where he's not there. As she ends up chuckling in disbelief, how can a strong and independent woman like her be so head over heels with someone that she would even consider to be alone with someone for eternity? Maybe that is how love works. You just do stupid things, she thought. How about this, said Naruto as he stopped in front of her. We can always do the marriage ceremony anytime you want, but I just want you to be sure about this. So why don't we wait for 3 years and see how you feel about it then? Natasha did not see anything wrong with that suggestion. It's better to make plans, especially on life-changing decisions, than rush into things. Alright, she said. 3 years. As Naruto released a sigh of relief when he heard her answer. They had 3 years to think about how they should move forward with their relationship. Time skip. Natasha's safe house, New York. The date was December the 12th, 2008. What time is Jessica finals tomorrow? Natasha asked as she sat on the bed, reading a case file Fury ordered her to take home. He wanted her to lead up next week to retrieve a possible alien artifact from some German business typhoon. And the file is every intel they have on the target. The first one will start at 8 AM, the last one will end at 8 PM. Naruto answered as he had a Game Boy Advance SP in his hand as he was playing Pokemon Emerald. The moment he first played a video game in this world, he was immediately hooked, as he had a vast collection of gaming paraphernalia hidden away in his storage seals. From retro gaming to top of the line computer gaming. He really has any chance to play with them though. Jessica, on the other hand, is in her room as she was going through the notes and the handouts. Ace in all for her exam will allow her to take an accelerated course that will enable her to finish in 2.5 years instead of 4. Why is it so long? Are all finals like that, said Natasha. I have no idea. I only ever attended the academy, and the written exams there only lasted for about 2 hours. My clones didn't have to take exam when they're spying on the classes out there because they're invisible, said Naruto. As Natasha decided to tackle one of her mysteries that has been bugging her about Naruto. Naruto, can you save the game? I need to ask you something. As Naruto simply nodded as he saved up his progress before he stored the Game Boy away. What's up, he said. I'm just gonna say it, she said. How was your life before coming here? I only heard snippets about your life. And I know that I don't know a lot of stuff about you while you probably know everything in my file the second time we met. That's likely how you know that I like Italian food and know about my condition, she said. As he could not deny what she was saying, because he never really liked to talk about his childhood or his time in the elemental nation. Nonetheless, there are times when silence must be broken. What do you want to know, he said. Let's start with your earliest memory and work our way up. As he motioned for her to come closer, as she realized his need for emotional support and came over and cuddled with him. As you know, my father was Minato no Mikaze, the 4th Hokage, said Naruto, and my mother was Kushina Uzumaki. Natasha sat there as she listened, as Naruto told her about the early part of his childhood. The things that she heard, she was shocked, especially about him being dragged out of the orphanage when the matrons kicked him out when he was just a simple child, and that it was a trap, as she now understood why he refused to talk most times about his life. A large group of civilians were outside waiting for him. He was attacked on that night. Natasha just couldn't believe what she was hearing. How could someone do that to a child? She was already regretting asking Naruto for his story. Now she understands why he was so hesitant to talk about it. He also spoke about Hinata. Natasha knew that she was not his first love. The honor fell to Hinata Hyuga. She didn't know how she died, but she knew that she was one of the reasons why he left the Elemental Nation. As Naruto had tried to run away, he had run into the forest when he was younger. However, there was a wandering shinobi that tried to kidnap Hinata that came across him. The shinobi had tried to kill Naruto the Kumo ninja. However, once, he hit Naruto in a vital spot to kill him. Kurama had taken over, as his aura had spread through the entire village, causing the Hokage to reach Naruto just in time and save him. After that, he was placed up in an apartment, as Natasha was glad that at least someone was there for him in the earlier stages, as she was thankful for this Hiruzen Sartobi. As he stopped right there and spoke, "It looks like we have to continue another time since Jess can't sit straight anymore," said Naruto. She was about to question his statement until he spoke up. "Come inside, Jess," he said. "You have an early day tomorrow." A few seconds later, a disheveled Jessica, in shorts and a white shirt, stepped in the room. Her eyes looked noticeably red and watery. "I was just getting some water," she said. Yes, she was getting some water, however she heard the first part of Naruto's story, as she couldn't help herself to know more about her roommate, so she had eavesdropped. As she couldn't believe how hard his life was compared to hers, the whole thing was screwed up to the extreme. "Sure," said Naruto. "Come to bed with us. You need your sleep." As Natasha scooted and created a space between them, Jessica didn't even try to argue, as she was tired as hell as she dropped on the bed, right in the center between them. "Don't worry, I'll continue the story after your finals." As he gave her a kiss on the cheek, as he kissed Natasha goodnight as well. "Good night, ladies," he said. "Good night. Good luck tomorrow as well," said Natasha, as she gave Jessica a kiss on her lips. "Good night," Jess mumbled, as she fell asleep. Time skip. January 8th, 2009. "Foxy," said Lila, as she saw Naruto and Natasha walking towards her house. Naruto waved brightly towards Lila, ignoring Clint's sheepish demeanor and Laura sputtering. "Foxy? Isn't that a little inappropriate coming from an almost 7-year-old, said Natasha in a whisper to Naruto. "No, she only called me that because I first came returned as a fox," said Naruto. "Of course you did," said Natasha. She knew that she shouldn't be surprised anymore. When they got near to the house, they heard Laura, as she was poking to Clint. "You didn't tell me that he was Foxy. Is that why you've been installing all those cameras?" she said. "Why are you getting mad at me? Get mad at him," said Clint. "I'm not the one that has been invading our house." No. You told me that he's weird and that he can teleport, so don't push this towards him. We're talking about why you did not tell me." As Natasha couldn't help but laugh, hearing Laura's statement. "Hey," said Naruto on the other hand. "I'm not weird. I'm eccentric." "That's the same thing," said Clint. Either way, the family welcomed their guests as Naruto went up the stairs, bringing Lila and Cooper with him, telling them stories about a doll that he got somewhere. The others went to the kitchen to catch up. "What do you guys want for dinner?" said Laura. "You should probably just leave the ingredients on the counter. I'll ask Naruto to cook later," Natasha said, slightly getting hungry just remembering Naruto cooking. As Laura instantly agreed, Naruto's care package of ready-to-eat meals are just to die for, as she brought out many things. "We're not gonna be able to finish all of that," said Natasha. "I'm gonna ask Naruto to cook for at least 2 weeks. I'll let Lila ask him to do it," said Laura, as she was utterly unashamed. As she continued to prepare the ingredients so he would have an easier time, when she sat back down, the other two looked at her. "What?" she said, using her mom voice. Nothing, they said. "So, how are you? It's been 3 months since I last saw you," Laura said, as Clint took the hint and he walked towards the living room to give the ladies some privacy. However, he was sure as hell eavesdropped. "Everything is great. Naruto and I dealt with some problems last November. However, what couple doesn't deal with problems? Ours is just a bit different." "That's good. How about the other thing? Have you talked to Naruto about that yet?" she asked vaguely. As Natasha released a sigh, she understood Laura's question. Last time she was here, she asked how to go about telling your partner if he would consider being in a polygamous relationship. She already anticipated that Jessica would worm her way in their life. There is no arrangement where someone wouldn't develop feeling for the couple. When Natasha started to develop a certain level of fondness for Jessica, and she could see that the same was for the other two as well. And the incident the night before Jessica finals was something that secured her beliefs even more. However, there was 2 things that were stopping her. 1, Jessica might bolt if she found out about this. She still has her anxiety about developing personal relationships, even though it has been watered down because of her encounters with Naruto. The second was the whole immortality thing. If she accepts the partial immortality that Naruto would give her, Jessica would be left alone, and that can't be good for her psyche. No, not yet. I will probably talk to Naruto about the idea first, she said, standing up. I'll check in on Naruto so that he can send a clone to prepare the food. A what? As Natasha stopped. Didn't Clint tell you, she said. Naruto can create clones to do stuff. Wow. You're a lucky girl, said Laura, with a perverted grin. Clint was already regretting everything. His choice to listen in on their conversation. Ew, no, he doesn't do that, said Natasha. It's one thing to use it for doing chores, but it's just weird to use it in sex. As she walked out afraid of what Laura might say next. As she came to a stop outside the door, she heard laughter from Lila and Cooper, and Naruto's energetic telling story time. She could imagine them having a family together. Yeah, she really could. Time skip. Stark Mansion, Malibu, Los Angeles. February 11, 2009. As Naruto is casually walking towards the mansion front door, he could just hurry rushing towards the room. However, sometime walking is good for the soul. Good morning, sir. It's kind of you to use the front door today, said Jarvis. Wow, Jarv. When did Tony finish the sarcasm update, said Naruto. Just 3 days ago, sir. Jarvis answered. Really? Said Naruto. As the door opened, the family is in the second floor lounge with Colonel Rhodey. Thank you, Jarv, said Naruto. As he headed inside to see Tony and Rhodey packing bags, while Pepper entertained Morgan. They're going to Afghanistan tomorrow morning, so it was decided it would be better if Rhodey would just stay over today. Happy might be doing some errands, that might be why he was unavailable. Oh, hi Naruto, said Pepper, as she was the first one that saw him. Good to see you, Pepper, said Naruto with a smile. He then kneeled in front of her. Hi Morgan, he said with a smile. Naruto, Morgan said as she jumped from Pepper's arms and hugged Naruto. What? Are we some chump meat? Tony said, seeing that Naruto didn't even greet them. Don't worry, man, said Naruto, as his expression turned a bit serious. We have to talk. You can join in, he said, looking towards Pepper, but Morgan should not be here for any of this. She heard the gravity of Naruto's words, as she brought Morgan to her room so she could entertain herself for a little while. Jarvis would alert them if anything happened to Morgan. If something dangerous even stepped close to her, which in this house, well, the possibility was almost too low. As Naruto spoke while she was taking Morgan away, Tony, have you installed Jarvis auto hacking system? Yep. Finished that one a year ago, said Tony. Can it go past Pentagon and Doc's firewall, said Naruto. Where do you think I tested it, said Tony in a sarcastic tone. Okay, where are you going with this, said Rhodey, as he did not like how the conversation was going. Again, you're worrying too much, said Naruto. You should probably take a vacation, Naruto advised. Jarvis, pull up every military file you can find on the social security number 878647437. Show it on the TV when I tell you to. Confirmation, sir, said Jarvis. One of the safeguards that Pepper insisted on placing on Jarvis' function was to make sure that Tony had to confirm it. Seeing that Morgan can accidentally hack into the Pentagon without knowing, especially since she's learning about shapes and numbers. Go ahead, Jarvis, said Tony. I have no idea what this is about, but hacking into the Pentagon and Dot is a pretty bad thing, said Rhodey. Sure, Tony hacked their system on a daily basis, but that's just for fun. Seriously, Rhodey, said Naruto. You need to relax, as he pulled out 3 files from behind him. I already have the guy file right here. I just need the collaborating data. Rhodey already knew that Naruto could get almost anything, but getting 3 personal, top secret files was just absurd. As Pepper returned, great, everyone's here, said Naruto. Now have a seat. The trio did as instructed. Let's start with the easy one. There's a massive security leak in your company. What? Why would you say that, said Tony, not able to think of any security leaks that would warrant the word massive. I have no idea how, but I know for a fact that someone in your company tip a terrorist cell called the 10 Rings. Rhodey instantly recognized that name. It's one of the fastest growing terrorist groups that broke off Al-Qaeda. I don't know who's that someone, but it must be someone high up since they're using your company triple encryption protocol. Shit. I thought we found all of them, said Tony. Apparently not, said Naruto. And that's not the worst part. They are showing some weird activity moving away from your testing site. I'll find out more in the next couple of days. I'm not gonna even question how you know about some obvious, classified information, but what's it got to do with the personal file you have, said Rhodey. Jarvis, could you show the photo of the soldier I asked you to find? Of course, sir, said Jarvis. As the TV turned on, as there was a full body soldier on it. 5 feet 11 inches, Caucasian, with a large build. Brown hair and dark brown eyes. Rhodey could identify the Marine insignia on his uniform. Francis David Castle, Sr. Frank Castle for short. He is 28. Has a wife and 2 kids, a girl and a boy. As Naruto gave each of them a folder. A Marine Force Recon, Sniper. One of the best around. I know only 3 guys that can beat his record, said Naruto. When he heard that, Tony had to ask, who's the 3 guys? I'm glad you asked. Number 3 is the FBI director himself, Saley Boot. Former Army Ranger. Number 2 is a partner of my girlfriend. Can't really say his name though. He didn't pause a dramatic effect. And number 1, of course, is yours truly, he said. Bullshit. Boot is a legend. The guy killed someone 3.5 kilometers away. There's no way someone could beat that, said Rhodey. Believe whatever you like, said Naruto, with a triumphant grin. Pepper is having a small panic attack on her side of the couch. She just learned that there's a large leak inside the company, and a terrorist organization is targeting her partner and boss. Can we move on to more important topics, like maybe canceling demonstration in Afghanistan? Pepper said, we can't do that. If we do that, we'll lose a lot of our customers, said Tony. He would not want to go there now, but they can't just lose their contract. Other deals hinge on it as well. I'll call for some extra security, all on the down low, said Rhodey. Don't tell anyone about this guy, said Naruto, as he pointed towards a photo of Frank Castle. Why did you tell us about him anyway, Tony said. Because he's coming with you, said Naruto. I called in one of my favors. He will join you at the airport. I would have asked an employee of mine to join you, but I sent him on an errand, said Naruto. Eric would have been a perfect candidate, since he's an MIT candidate, but well, Naruto had him on a mission in Somalia, as he wanted to see what would happen if any conflict happened without proper protection to the masses. You had this planned out, huh, said Rhodey. Yep, I just hope that Tony doesn't piss off Frank enough for him to kill him. Hey, I'm not that bad, said Tony. Sure you're not, said Naruto. Be careful on your trip. Don't forget to bring the paper I gave you. As he turned to Pepper, I'll just stop by Morgan's room to say goodbye. Your birthday gift is on the table in the living room. You're gonna love it, he said, as he made his way off. I really need to find out how he does all those things, Tony said to himself. What you should do is figure out why Naruto remember my birthday, and not you, said Pepper. I'm just gonna leave you guys to discuss all that, said Rhodey, as he made a tactical retreat. Time skip, February 13, 2009. Natasha woke up to the feeling of someone watching her. As she had the sense, spies had to develop sense awareness. She had no idea how Naruto didn't have that trait, consider his former job. Well, he was immortal, so maybe it just didn't bother him at all, because he had no danger to worry about. As she woke up to see Naruto sleeping with Jessica, hugging his arm like a teddy bear. As she pulled a knife from under her pillow, there was a bald European woman wearing yellow monk robes, and an African American man wearing green and blue robes. Without a second loss, she tossed a knife. However, a golden shield appeared and blocked the knife. Natasha groaned as she slapped Naruto in the chest, waking him up, as that woke Jessica up as well. Some of your weird friends are visiting, said Natasha, as Naruto was still out of it. As she whispered in his ear, we have no more ramen. What? He said, looking around, as he focused. Is this real the fox we're looking for? The man said. Yes, I'm sure. I cannot see his future, the woman said. What the hell? What are you doing here? Said Jessica. I'm sorry for the intrusion, but we need to talk to your mate as soon as possible. Just take him with you. We need some sleep, Jessica said as she kicked Naruto towards them. Thank you for your consideration, the woman said. As Naruto would have protested, however, Jessica sent him a glare, as she then rolled over. Natasha took her pistol from the side table as she got out of bed. I'll check what is going on. Yeah, sure, said Jess, as she still had class early in the morning. As Natasha watched as they were looking at Naruto, The woman was calm, the man was eyeing Naruto, while Naruto seemed bored. Now that everyone is here, I can introduce us. My student here is Master Coral Mordo, and I'm simply called the Ancient One, the current Sorcerer Supreme. We are both masters of the mystic arts. Of course magic is real, not as a thought. And we're here to say our request to you, Yellow Fox. As Naruto had found signs of magic in this world, but he never found someone who practiced it. And what is that? Said Naruto. Do not save Tony Stark from 10 rings. The fate of the universe hinges on it. Naruto groaned. Another one of those crazy people, he said. Come on. As Naruto started to pull Natasha away. As Natasha was wary of the two even more now, as there was a possible relationship between Pepper and Tony Stark. Sheila had information on that. However, there was also a fourth person staying there at the mansion, but no one has ever seen the person going in or coming out. Natasha believed that it was Naruto. Maybe he knew everything going on with Tony. That is when golden strings wrapped around Naruto's wrists. Get inside, he said. As she knew that this was real magic, her guns wouldn't do shit to them. She went inside, as the magic strings are coming from Mordo. As he was about to send them toward Natasha as well, however, the Ancient One stopped him. Let Mr. Romanoff be. Let me go, said Naruto. No, you're going to listen, said Mordo. As Naruto took a deep breath, he flashed you one-handed seals and slammed his hand on the wall. Black writings filled the entire room. The Ancient One and Mordo were shocked. Runes were considered writing program of the universe, as it was hard to finish or even commence because you had to take each character by themselves, and yet this individual did it with such ease. You got 10 minutes to convince me not to end the boat if you're right here. Naruto threatened as his eyes changed into something that was emitting a white glow. The Ancient One believed that it was best not to have a conflict right now, especially since this man is a huge unknown. She lifted the medallion that was hidden around her neck. This is the Eye of Agamotto, a powerful artifact created by my predecessor that utilized one of the greatest aspects of the universe, the aspect of time. She opened the iris, releasing a green glow. With this, I can see all the futures around me. I usually wouldn't see past my death, but her influence has changed so much. Even mine. It allowed me to take a peek into the future past my own. It still doesn't explain why I shouldn't save Tony and this whole fate of the universe thing, said Naruto. His life will be fought with challenges and heartaches, a series of heroism that would lead to his self-sacrifice and lead to his eventual demise. But in the end, he will save half of the life in the universe. Unfortunately, that's all I can say. That's some pretty specific details. I just can't help but feel that there's something not there in your story. As Naruto then realized something. You were surprised, he said. You can't see me with that medallion of yours, can you? She wanted him to think that she knows his future as well. However, it seems like she didn't have much time to convince him of that. Because the Time Stone cannot see his future, she never knew what this talk would be like. You never called me by my name, and you were surprised, which means your necklace cannot show you anything that involved me. She gave up the ruse as she saw there's no point in lying right now. You have deduced it quite well, she said, as she was a bit frustrated. Not being in control is a strange feeling that she hasn't felt in a very long while. Do you care to share your opinions on why is that, said Naruto. Mordo has a feeling that the fox is playing them. He didn't know why or how, but there was a sinking feeling in his gut. Of course, she said. 1. You could be an entity not from this universe, causing you to be outside the influence of this universe. 2. You have enough power inside you that you could overpower the aspects. This essentially makes you a god, and the authority of the aspects won't work on you. 3. You are a true immortal, outside the influence of time. This will make you invisible to the power of the eye. She was trying to tell through his expression, however, his face was so neutral. The question is, which one are you? As Naruto flashed a dark grin, the Ancient One questioned. Fate is such a puzzling concept, while others think that it's comforting. As Naruto was counting down in his mind throughout all of this. Your time just ran out, he said. He flexed his arms, the binding strings pop. A kunai dropped in his palm as he rushed towards Mordo. However, the Ancient One was prepared, as she created a quick shield as Naruto kunai stabbed into it. She then opened a portal, throwing Naruto in the mirror dimension. As the mirror dimension is a world for testing new sorcerers' powers, and the old ones as well. However, it was a prison for those who did not have a slinging ring. Of course, Naruto does not know any of this, as he saw hundreds of people in similar robes to what the others were wearing. Before he could react, thousands of strings wrapped around his body, holding him in place. He tried moving his fingers, but the ropes are too tight to even move that. Another portal opened up as the Ancient One and Mordo walked in. "It is not my intention to do this, but you left me with no choice," the Ancient One said. "I say that you look pretty prepared for someone who does not intend to do this," said Naruto. "I got a question though. How many of them are you willing to sacrifice before leaving me alone?" "No one. But the fate of the universe hangs in the balance, and you will not be the one to tip it over to our demise." "Wrong answer," said Naruto. She thought that he was just bluffing. However, one after another she saw the binding threads were disappearing. She and Mordo turned as they saw 20 apprentices and 5 masters. Their bodies were being held up by strange metal threads that had ripped through them. The remaining sorcerers had metal threads around their bodies. The only reason why the spell was still up was because they were channeling through their hands. "You should think about your approach next time," said Naruto. His voice came from behind them. The Ancient One and Mordo jumped away. At the corner of their vision, the man inside the binding suddenly vanished. "You got 3 choices here, bring me back, and we could all be buddies. Or you could try to fight me and see how many of you can get out of here intact. Or you could just leave me alone here and we'll forget about the whole thing." As our gaze focused on him, thinking about the possibilities. "Let them go, and we'll leave." "What do you think I am, stupid? Leave first, and I'll let them go. And then they will leave. What's the point of a hostage situation if you have no hostage?" "Fine, I'll leave. He stays and go with the rest," the Ancient One said, looking towards Mordo, making sure that someone is at least behind. "Deal," said Naruto. The Ancient One gave Mordo a look for him to make sure that everyone was okay, as she opened a portal and left. As soon as she left, Naruto let the other sorcerers go. Eventually, only Naruto and Mordo were left. Before he went away though, he said his piece. "We are the silent protectors of the world, and it's our job to protect it at all costs." "Well, you're doing a pretty shitty job if the fate of the universe falls in the hand of a billionaire philanthropist," said Naruto, as Mordo vanished. After a while, Naruto then popped, sending the memories back to the real Naruto who was lying on the bed with Natasha. "What happened?" said Natasha, as Naruto opened his eyes. When she had tried to enter the room, she couldn't even hear anything. As the place had become silent, Naruto must have used his Fuinjutsu. 10 minutes later though, he suddenly appeared. Apparently he left clones to deal with the problem since he wanted to sleep. "They left me in some mirror dimension. Hundreds of them bound me in some strange orange strings, and a red one. I killed a few of them to send a message. They then left me there without a second thought. The whole place was probably a prison," said Naruto. "What are you gonna do?" "I placed a hierarchy seal on everyone," said Naruto. "I'll just trap them from time to time," she said. "Should I report this to Fury?" she asked. A whole organization of sorcerers is a pretty big thing. As Naruto thought about it, it's probably a bad idea to let Fury know about the whole magic thing. But maybe that is what he needs right now. "Yeah," said Naruto, with a grin. "What are you thinking?" she asked, seeing that grin on his face. "When an international agency starts to look into a secret organization of mystics, what do you think will happen?" said Naruto. Natasha couldn't help but groan. The whole chaos that will ensue afterwards will cause her to lose a whole lot of free time. 2 bald babies, duking it out. What could be more fun than that? That is when he felt a familiar pull from a hierarchy seal. "Can't I get some decent sleep?" he said. "I have to go, Nat." "What is it this time?" "I have no idea, but it's probably Tony." "Someday you're gonna tell me how you two became so chummy." Sure, said Naruto, as he then vanished. Time skip. Air Force Base, Afghanistan. February 13, 2009. This was a few minutes before. For your consideration, the Jericho. He extended his hands as a shockwave, as explosion reached his position. Applause went through the crowd of US military forces and officers, and some Dutch representatives. Frank, on the other hand, kept a low profile in the background, as he was scanning for any possible threat. It's weird for him to wear civilian clothing out in the middle of a desert, as he was wearing a white shirt and a khaki combat pants. As Frank still can't believe that he agreed to do a bodyguard job for a billionaire. If Naruto hadn't saved Curtis from that suicide bomber, he wouldn't have done this job no matter the amount of money. He is in denial of how Naruto stopped the suicide bomber, but he recognized that he did something. It looks like how the mystery of how Curtis appeared next to him with a blonde man out of nowhere would still stay a mystery. It took another hour as Tony came up towards him. We're going to head towards Kabul. The generals are not here. For some reason the a-holes are not where they're supposed to be. As he thought that they could return quickly, Naruto warning about the terrorist group was making him a bit jumpy. We going to take a chopper? Frank asked. No. The cheap a-holes can only spare a 4 Humvee convoy. As the convoy arrived, as Frank looked towards the guards there, they all looked fresh, green like they were new to the job. The whole thing was triggering him. Hey Rhodey, you coming? Said Tony. Nah, I have to check the planes. It's not uncommon for him to do this since he's one of their best pilots. As Tony went in the middle with armed soldiers on each side, as Frank sat in the passenger side seat. Be careful out there, said Rhodey as he slapped the roof, signaling for the thing to move off. Tony sure had a way with people since after 20 minutes, he's taking selfie with every soldier inside the car. Frank was gonna reprimand his soldiers for their unprofessional behavior when the front car exploded, causing theirs to stop. Ambush! Frank said into the radio. The car behind them was about to do a backup, however it exploded as well, as he quickly shouted in the radio for reinforcements. Everyone dismount, he said. They did not even question the order, they were new to this, having someone to lead them their body move on automatic. As they got out and started to shoot at everyone who is not one of them. You, said Frank as he pointed to closest man to him. Man the 50 calibers. As they jumped and moved towards the machine guns, Frank pulled the frozen Tony out of the car and dragged him towards the embankment on the side of the road. Get it together, he yelled. We're gonna get out of here. You hear me, he yelled. As Tony repeatedly nodded, thankful to focus on something else than repeated gunfire. That is when they heard something dropping behind them, as they saw the Mordo shell mark with the logo of Stark Industry on it. Frank's eyes went wide as he grabbed Tony, starting to pull him away. However, the Mordo exploded as everything went dark. Time skip. Tony woke up as his body was in pain, mostly his chest. The ceiling was made of rock. He felt something uncomfortable in his nose. He grabbed it and pulled it out, forcing him to cough. Looks like the magnet worked, Tony heard Frank said as he turned to see where the voice is coming from. A man was standing there 6 feet 1 inches. He seemed to be in his 50s, as he was a bit grey, as he was shaving, but he looked to be some kind of doctor. Ah yes, the great Tony Stark seemed to be awake. The man said before he turned towards Tony. I am Howie Ensign. Your doctor for now. How are you? Tony ignored as he lifted his shirt. What did you do to me? As it was a metal contraption in his chest, connected to a car battery. That's an electromagnet, the only thing keeping these. As he lifted vials with metal shards and shake it from reaching your heart as you heal. I can't remove some of them since they're too close to your heart. Tony gave him a grateful nod before he turned towards Frank. How are you? He said. A little beaten up, but I'll be fine. He's sugarcoating it. Your captors want to kill him since he's a former military. The only reason why he's alive is because a manifesto said that he's the lead and main operative of your Jericho missile. Either way, we need to get out of here, said Frank. As I said, there is no form of communication device anywhere near this room, and there's at least 50 men outside that door. Jensen told him. Besides, we always have company, as he gestured towards the camera at the back of the room. I noticed, said Frank. Why is no one coming in if they're watching us? Tony said. If they want them, they should be storming in the moment they notice he's awake. Because I suggest they wait until later tonight. Any stress right now will stab your heart, and they don't want that. As Tony looked around trying to find something, that is when he noticed his wallet. Give that to me, he said. as Frank tossed in the wallet. As he searched, he found what he was looking for at the back of a photo of Pepper and Morgan. Good thing he did not use it as a wallet photo, or they would have more reason to use leverage against him. As he pulled a piece of paper, as Naruto told him to tear the bottom half if he's in trouble. What's that? Our reinforcement, said Tony, as he tore the paper. They waited as Tony expected something to happen, maybe some flashing lights, however nothing happened. Well, that was anticlimactic. Hey, what are you calling anticlimactic? The voice of Naruto suddenly said, as he walked from behind Tony from a pillar. So, need some help getting out, he said. But the moment he said that, he heard shouting come from the other side of the door. Come on, I need some answers quickly, said Naruto. Tony is thinking on how to proceed. Usually he would just get out of there, but his newly developed sense of morality, when it comes to his daughter, it was messing with his brain. As he looked towards the doctor, what do they want with me? The voices outside were getting louder. As Frank took 2 metal rods and walked towards the door, ready to bash some skulls in. They're your most loyal customers. The 10 rings want you to make them the Jericho. The only thing they can't buy from their source. As Tony nodded, get us out of here, he said to Naruto. Bring us to the mansion, I need to pick up something. As Tony grabbed the car battery, powering the electromagnet. As Naruto grabbed him, Frank, and Yinsen. As a whole group vanished. The moment they did, the door opened up as the guards rushed in. However, they were already gone. As Yinsen dropped to the ground along with Tony, as Frank swayed on his feet. So that's how you do it, said Tony, as he always wondered how Naruto could get in and out of the mansion without triggering any security. What did you do? Quantum entanglement, wormholes? He asked, curious on what Naruto did. That's a secret, man, said Naruto, as Tony grumbled. Have you finished it, Naruto asked. Not quite, he says, he carried the car battery and hobbled over towards the work table. You know it's been tossed to the back burner ever since Morgan came. He double tapped the corner of the desk as it was glowing. Jarvis, pull up Project Knight and the arc reactor design. Certainly, sir. And may I say, it's good to see you somewhat okay, said Jarvis. Should I inform Miss Potts about your arrival? What time is it, Tony asked. It's 1:45, said Jarvis. I've only been out for about 3 hours. Getting blown up really messed with your head. Don't wake them up, he said, as he calculated the time between here and Afghanistan. I'll tell them later. Of course, sir. As the 3D plans came up, showing the MK1 and the arc reactor. Where the hell are we? Frank asked Naruto. LA, specifically. Tony Garage, said Naruto. The Kurdish thing, Frank said. Yep, the Kurdish thing, said Naruto. Now Frank understand how he just got Curtis out of there. You got beer and food? Frank asked Tony. Food can be found on the corner to your right, and beverages are inside the refrigerator underneath it, Mr. Castle, said Jarvis. That's just weird, said Frank, as he made his way towards the counter. Yo, Yinsen, want some? As Yinsen still looked a bit dizzy. Just water, he said, as he picked up a few things as he got the water for Yinsen. Naruto, beer, he said. Sure, said Naruto, as he caught it. So, what is he doing anyway? Asked Frank. Finishing a project that has been in the back burner for too long. Frank looked confused. You 3 can't just appear stateside when you've been kidnapped, said Naruto. That will send warning bells to everyone, and a whole bunch of investigation will occur. That's why I was just gonna leave you guys in the middle of the desert so a search party could find you guys. Frank understood Naruto's reasoning. The military would be all over his ass if they found that he could get into anywhere that easily. But Tony wanted to get back here, so he probably wanted to fight his way out of the hole, said Naruto. He's gonna fight his way out? He's gonna turn tail and run the moment the first bullet is fired, Frank said. I wouldn't be so sure about that, said Naruto. He helped me take down a mob in Vegas. Frank heard the news about that one, but hearing that Naruto is involved, the whole thing made a lot more sense. He's not a fighter or a soldier, Frank said. He won't be able to take down all those terrorists, he said. You know you can join too if you want, said Naruto. Give a kid a nuke and he can change the tide of the war. Same concept here, said Naruto, as he was referring to himself. Frank couldn't deny it, however he wondered, what the hell is Stark working on? Ever since that night in Vegas, Tony had ideas in his mind. However, he's been working on them in the down low. With Morgan coming along and everything, he's been putting them off to the side. He has 90% done, but the remaining 10 is a crucial part. And it would take a lot longer, so he's removing a lot of parts to make the fabrication time a lot shorter. The art reactor is a problem. He needs to design the whole thing so it can function as an electromagnetic high output that can power the night. Once he was done with the modification, he spoke, "Run the simulations." The end result is a ugly behemoth that make him want to puke. But the time was short. "Yes sir, run it now." Simulation finish. The prototype will produce 1 gigajoule per second. The suit on the other hand will only handle 10 minutes of rigorous use, said Jarvis. "That's a lot shorter than I thought. How long will the fabrication take?" 6 hours sir, however the art reactor need more precise hands, said Jarvis. "Damn it, I should have known it wouldn't be that easy," Tony said. He walked over to Yinsen. "Wiki wiki," he said. "You're gonna help me upgrade this," as he tapped his chest. As Yinsen had no choice but to agree. He then turned his head towards Naruto and Frank. "You two are helping, by the way." "Huh, no way man. I need to go check on my girlfriend. I just left her in the apartment with her roommate," said Naruto. "Why the hell do you still have a room here if you got the apartment?" said Tony. "I like the view," said Naruto. "Wait, is that roommate of yours the same chick that has been joining the threesome?" Tony asked, curious. Even Frank was a bit curious as well hearing the question. "Yep, I just told you. I left them in the apartment on the bed," said Naruto. "You know, I just want you to know, I hate you right now," said Tony. As Yinsen and Frank seemed to agree with that. "Just go already. Be back by 8. "Sure thing. Anything that I need to bring back?" said Naruto. "Nah, I got everything," said Tony. "Bring me something I can use to shoot people," said Frank. Tony snorted as he walked towards the empty wall. As he placed his hand on it, the wall split open, revealing a small armory. "Believe me, Frank, I got everything," said Tony. "You know, I think we're gonna get along just fine," said Frank. "You better not let Pepper know about this," said Naruto, as he blinked out of sight. "Do we have to go back using that?" Tony said, as Yinsen turned green. The traveling took a lot out of him. It was weird, and he felt like he wanted to puke. But guys, if you ain't subscribed right here, if one thing's important to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification stay posted, remember share to all of your friends in your social media platform, and don't forget to go ahead guys and check out Anime Prince. Yes guys, an Anime King, an Anime King 3, indeed. I have 4 channels that I post what fun every single day for you guys to enjoy, so go ahead, check them out and enjoy guys. So without further ado, what is to be jump right into this new, what am I saying, it's time that we get the hell out of here. See you guys soon, peace guys.